Hey, I'm Alex Rattle from Board Game Co, and this is News and Week in Review, where we're going to go through the various pieces of news of the week. We're going to go through the topic of the week, which again I don't think we have. I've been very scarce on those topic of the weeks. I don't know why. We should have a lot of news pieces this week, so that will hopefully take up most of your time. And originally this show was supposed to be a 10-minute show, by the way. Way back when it was first created, this particular segment was supposed to be 10 minutes or less. That happened for like 2 weeks. And past that, we'll go through the games I played, and then of course the actual week in review and the videos and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and start this off, starting off with the various news, which like I said already, there is a lot. Let's start off with Earth Abundance. Earth, one of the most popular games of 2023 by a long shot. It's a little insane just how much of a long shot this is the most popular game by. But Earth is coming out with an expansion, the Abundance expansion. I will be playing this one soon-ish. I don't know exactly when. I think sometime in the next month, I've had to say. Maybe even sooner. Maybe sometime in the next few weeks I'll be playing this. But Earth, either way, Earth Abundance over here. We have an expansion coming from Inside Up for one of the most popular games, which I don't know if it's coming on... Is it coming on Kickstarter? Expansion will be coming to Kickstarter. Yeah, it's coming to Kickstarter. So I guess I'm getting a prototype, I guess. We'll see. I believe I'm going to have a chance to play this game, so we'll find out exactly how that manifests and plays out. We also have over here, we have Ascending Empires from, we have from Play to Z over here. So that's a new creator. This broke off from, I want to say WizKids had this before. But Ascending Empires, Zenith Edition, this was an older title, Ascending Empires, coming back to Kickstarter. I will say I'm surprised that there's not that many people following it, although I don't know exactly when that page launched. But if you are interested in a flicking galactic 4X game where you're like flicking discs across the galaxy while, you know, playing a 4X experience, Ascending Empires is one that I never got a chance to play myself, but I've always wanted to play, and so I'm definitely interested in that one. We have over here, we have Kemet Blood and Sand is back. This is an update coming to you from WSBG Games. Not exact a lot of information over here, but in some way, shape, or form, Kemet will be coming back to crowdfunding in 2024. How, where, why, when, all those things. Well, I know some of those answers. The why is because, you know, they always had another expansion planned for this, and it's a popular game, so that's the why. But the how, where, when, those are things we don't really have the answers to yet. But Kemet Blood and Sand is coming back, or an expansion to Kemet Blood and Sand, in case you are interested in that. Then we have over here, we have World Series of Board Games, the WSBG 2024, the third year of WSBG. I'm very excited. I love this event. I have a lot of fun in it. I think it's a very unique event, so I'm always a big supporter of the event and how it does in general. But they're doing a bunch of new things this year. First of all, they will have a presence at a few conventions, like I think Adepticon and BreakoutCon. They're going to have more WSBG, like regionals, whatever they call them, qualifiers. We had them at Level Up Retreat, so people have the opportunity to win a entry. I believe Jenna from the Board Game Garden was the Level Up Retreat winner of the WSBG series, which basically means she had to enter her game, then win the next tier, then win the next tier. So she won 3 games in a row effectively, making her the WSBG, the Level Up Retreat WSBG qualifier. But past that, I think so Adepticon and BreakoutCon, I believe, are going to have events there as well, in case you want to potentially get entry for a free badge. Not badge, well, maybe badge. I don't know the exact details. I think they vary convention by convention, so just look for your details where you need. But they're doing a bunch of other things. They have the War Game Invitational over here. So 4 great war games to choose from, the best in the world, 3 prize winners per game, 2 action-packed days of playing your favorite war game, and 1 champion per war game to receive up to $5,000 in cash. So they have war game regionals, War of the Ring, Twilight Struggle, Stars Rebellion, and Julius Caesar. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games in terms of like the sheer game time. Those are not short games. We have Solving the Mystery of Forecasting and Gauging Demand. As usual, I frequently call out sounds so bad. I frequently reference and talk about Stonemaier Games vlog. They have a blog, blog. Stonemaier Games blog. Jamie Stegmaier has some of the best content in general as far as the nature of the industry. I think it's so insightful, it's so open, so transparent. I'm a huge fan of it. But it's basically a conversation around the nature of forecasting supply and demand, gauging demand around the Wyrmspan title, specifically around some of their extras and deluxification whatever packs they have. So just interesting content around that in case you like that kind of thing, but I do recommend it as a good read. We have Awaken Realms next over here. Awaken Realms, you know, famous for, well, a lot of things, but most popularly Nemesis. Nemesis Retaliation did very well last year, but a whole bunch of other games, from Tainted Grail to Nemesis to The Great Wall to This War of Mine and many, many more. They have AR Next coming February 27th. AR Next is the event they ran last year, and by the way, disclaimer that I do work for GameFound, take that into account, but AR Next was the event they ran last year where they talked about their upcoming projects for the entire year. They're going to have AR Next coming this year as well, and also because I always have to remember not everyone knows everything going on. The reason I made the disclaimer about GameFound while talking about Awaken Realms is because Awaken Realms and GameFound have shared ownership. They are two separate companies with different employees, staff, all that stuff, but there is shared ownership between the companies, so that's why I made that disclaimer there. But next, they're going to be talking about their 4 games. If you want to go ahead and look at that picture and try to make your own deductions as far as what those are, I will possibly be doing I don't know if I'll do a live video, but I might do like a day of video reaction. I'll figure it out. I hope to have content on these 4 upcoming titles as soon as they have more information about them. But Awaken Realms, I mean, they do a lot of exciting stuff, so stay tuned in case you're interested in any of that. Speaking of exciting stuff from Plaid Hat Games, we have Wandering Galaxy, a new Crossroads game coming from Plaid Hat Games. Their most recent one, Freelancers, was received incredibly well. They've had a few before that. They had the original Crossroads game, Dead of Winter. They had Gen 7, which wasn't that well received. And then they had Freelancers. I want to say they had one before, like the pirate one. What's the pirate one? Freelancers was that one. They had a pirate adventuring one that was generally very well received. But either way, Freelancers is one they have. And now they have Wandering Galaxy, although interestingly enough, this time it's coming to crowdfunding, which is different. I don't think they've done crowdfunding on the Crossroads games before, but they're going to go ahead and get notified when the Kickstarter launches, which is fascinating to see. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to see another company wandering into the crowdfunding scene that hadn't historically done crowdfunding, which I'm sure many people will not be happy about, and I understand that. Personally, I've never minded when a company gets involved in crowdfunding. I think crowdfunding is an excellent tool for being able to forecast demand, plan around certain projects. You know, speaking of Jamie Stegmaier and forecasting demand, he talks about, like, why not just do crowdfunding? And there are pros and cons. There very much are cons, but I think that is a very interesting tool that I think it's an interesting tool that publishers should be mindful of when and how they utilize it, but I'm very intrigued to see Plaid Hat Games doing so for Wandering Galaxy, which by the way looks cool, so I'm interested in that one. Then over here we have speaking of the risks and the downsides of crowdfunding, we have Lance Hinkle, Learn to Play Games, talking about Mythic Effect and my thoughts as a backer. And by my thoughts, I mean his thoughts as a backer. But if you're looking for another person talking about the Mythic game situation and coming from the perspective of somebody who is a backer of those games as well, while also being a content creator, having relationships with the industry, all of that, highly recommend checking out that video. I enjoyed the watch. I enjoyed these kinds of conversations. In fact, I didn't mention it yet, but King of Average also had very interesting coverage around the situation as well, which again, I like the differing viewpoints, the different aspects, the things to focus on. Please check out both of those videos in case you're interested in more insights around the Mythic game situation. We have Renegade Games doing the search for UAPs. Speaking of crowdfunding, I think this is true. I think Renegade Games, they had the search for Planet 9, then they had the search for the Lost Species, which they brought to crowdfunding, and now they have the search for UAPs, the unidentified alien, I don't know, what does that UAP stand for? UFO I know, UAP I feel like I used to know that, unidentified flying objects, but there's a term, unidentified anomalous phenomena. Totally. Anyways, it looks like they're bringing that one directly to retail, so it looks like they are skipping crowdfunding this time. So, Search for Lost Species, I don't remember doing amazingly well. I think it did like maybe 40,000, 50,000. I could be wrong. It may have done more, but I don't remember doing amazingly well, but certainly was an opportunity to see how it did on crowdfunding, and they're going back to retail directly for this 3rd iteration in the series. Am I interested? I guess so. No, I don't know. I like the Search for the Last Planet. I like the Search for Planet 9, and I also liked the search for the alien species, but neither one did that's not what I call it, the search for the lost species, but neither one did I love. Both were enjoyable experiences that I had fun with, that gave me deduction, but I think I prefer other deduction games. So, I mean, I may end up covering this. I do cover against Renegade, and I certainly wouldn't say no, I'm interested in playing it, but I don't think I'd seek it out otherwise. I think I've seen the system enough to be like, hey, it's a good system. You want me to review it? By all means, but I don't think I'm seeking it out. There's too many games. You have to make decisions. You have to limit your attention. You have to think about the cone of your energy and attention and monetary, your budget, your shelf space, your mind space for rules. You have to think about all of it and then keep it all as much in check as possible. We have Courtesans coming from Pandasaurus Games, another game over here from Pandasaurus, who in general produced a lot of very good games for me, although I heard the loop is going to be out of print, and that is ridiculous, so Pandasaurus, bring the loop back in print, please, 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 because I keep recommending it, and I'd rather people be able to buy it. Then we have over here, we have Riffle over here, Riffle from Chip Theory Games. They are bringing Riffle back. This is not the right link. I couldn't find the right link, but basically Riffle is this hidden character that pops back up here and there, and I got a thing on Facebook saying, hey, it's going to be popping back up again. sometime. I'll see if I can find the link so you have the proper link down below, but if I can't, you may have to do your own homework, but I believe it's available this coming week for like a day. For 24 hours, you can buy Riffle again in case you want to buy Riffle, so that's your opportunity to go ahead and get that. And then we have Skytear. Skytear, this is the wrong link. Why is this the wrong link? Oh no. Oh, here we go. Perfect, there we go. I had the wrong thing up. So Skytear War Games over there, they basically announced, hey, they have 3 projects coming to you in 2024. This was an email thing. This is the email link in case you want to check it out. But they basically have an RPG setting for D&D 5e, so they're going to have a Skytear RPG setting for D&D. They have the spiritual sequel to Skytear. Now, Skytear has Skytear and Skytear Horde, 2 different games. Skytear is a MOBA-style game, and Skytear Horde is more of a Hearthstone-style game. But the spiritual sequel to Skytear is going to be coming out soon in some way, shape, or form with an upgrade pack and the MOBA aspects and things like that. I'm very intrigued to see what they're doing with this one, but, you know, we'll find out more. And again, links down below. And then they have Skytear Horde, but with quick campaigns, whatever that means. And they do have more information on what that means throughout this article over here. But Skytear Horde is going to have more content as well. And that's basically everything we have for Skytear, which means we have the last piece of news for the week, which is Peacekeeper Games. This is another one that's just interesting news to go ahead and check out. It's a bit of a heartfelt, you know, personal story, plus some information, which you have Peacekeeper Games, effectively. This is the company that brought you, well, most famously, I want to say Rurik, but they brought Flag Dash, and they brought Gearworks, although Gearworks is actually relevant to this. But this is basically kind of a miniature life update with a bit of a video to watch as well. Heartwarming, sad, and emotional, all those things together. But you go to check that out. But basically, effectively, Kirk Dennison from Peacekeeper Games, he started the company, and then life transitions and all that stuff. He had different jobs and still at Peacekeeper, and now he's working for Thunderworks. But basically, he talks about 2 main things that are the pieces of news part of this, which is Rurik, Dawn of Kiev, in some way, shape, and form, was picked up by another company and will be coming back in some way, shape, or form. So we don't have more information over here in this email. You can check it out, but basically, he talks about the fact people are constantly asking him for a reprint, and he's saying, hey, stuff will happen, just we don't have news yet, but someone did pick up the game, so we'll find out more about that. And then we have Gearworks. Gearworks is a game that they produced a while ago, PC Games put out, and then they have a opportunity to go ahead and get this right now, where you can get a free playmat and get the game for $30 for this slightly Sudoku-ish style game, but also not really Sudoku. We'll have coverage on the game for you at some point soon. I'll have coverage on the game for you some point soon. But then it sounds like they will possibly be doing a crowdfunding campaign with whatever Overstock does not sell through this sale over here. So if you are interested in this game, this is a good chance to go ahead and get it, where you'll get, you know, that free playmat, that $30 price point. Then past that, it might be coming to crowdfunding. And that is what we have for our news and week in review, which means it's time for, like I said already, I'm skipping the topic of the week because, scrub me, in case you're watching this, I actually was supposed to have a topic of the week around the nature of expansions versus modules, but I don't remember what the topic was supposed to be. This is a viewer-suggested topic of the week about expansions versus modules. But I feel there has to be more to these subjects. My note just said expansions versus modules, but I just can't remember what the actual conversation was because, well, that's not enough of a topic. An expansion is an expansion, a module is a module. I feel there's more. I'll find out later, but that might be next week's topic of the week in case I think it's interesting enough to be a full topic of the week. But for right now, let's go ahead and dive into the week in review, starting off with the games I played. And as usual, this is a small smattering of games I played that I just want to talk about, very often ones that I don't think I'll have full review coverage coming on them. And to start off with, we're going to have Wyrmspan. Having played Wyrmspan recently and diving into that, I decided to try Wyrmspan again to, you know, give it another look-see, see how the game is. I've always enjoyed Wyrmspan, but I've never fallen in love with the game. And so I played Wyrmspan again. And again, I always enjoyed Wyrmspan, and I've never fallen in love with the game. Wyrmspan's an interesting one. Like Wyrmspan, I like Wyrmspan more than Wyrmspan. I'm not saying I love Wyrmspan. I am saying I actively want to have it in my collection for now, and we'll see how things iterate over time. But I'm definitely enjoying Wyrmspan. I find it gives me a solid degree of gameplay, the ability to get things done. I don't think I still have the mental love for it that I have for games like Everdell or Terraforming Mars or who knows what else, Dune Imperium, whatever it is. But I do enjoy Wyrmspan a lot, and Wyrmspan I still feel is too tight, too not fun enough as far as getting things done. They are both good systems. I mean, Wyrmspan is clearly very popular, but I think for me, Wyrmspan is the one that lands and resonates with me more personally. Past that, we have Camel Dash, or Camel Up, Camel Up, Camel Up, Camel Cup, Camel Up. I finally played Camel Up. I've read the rules of that game a long time ago. I never actually got it tabled, unfortunately, but I finally got to play Camel Up, and I thought it was 2nd edition, I believe 2nd edition, and I thought it was a fun experience. not a good experience, a fun experience. I had fun playing Camel Up. Do not expect a review on this game, but I would say my instinctive rating based on one play, so first impressions rating, take that into account, is going to be a 3 out of 5. I had fun with it. I don't think I will ever request it. I don't think I'll ever miss not playing with it, but if you wanted to play it with me, I would play it. It was good for like some giggles and laughs as players try to predict which camel would go around the racetrack. Effectively in the game, you have different camels, you're trying to bet on those camels and predict both in every individual lap of the race, so it's not really lap, iteration of the race, burst, whatever, versus the whole race as a whole. I think there's some fun moments going on in it, but it's more chaos and some degree of statistical probability, but a lot more chaos and a lot more just focused on, hey, look at that thing that happened that was fun and now someone won even though no one saw that coming. And that does happen in the game. And no, I'm not bitter. No, I didn't win, but I did come in a very respectable second place. But also I got some early calls very well done, but then also things worked out in a crazy way. The game is fun. I think Camel Cup is separate. I think Camel Up is a fun experience, but not necessarily a good one. It reminds me a little bit of Unstable Unicorns? No, wrong game. No, maybe it wasn't Unstable Unicorns? Unicorn Fever. Unicorn Fever. Reminds me a bit of Unicorn Fever in terms of the vibes you get from it. I think Unicorn Fever was a better game. Camel Cup might be easier to get to the table. I don't know. Stuff. It's a good game. I don't mind it, but I just don't think I will miss it personally. We have Veiled Fate. I managed to get an 8-player game of Veiled Fate in. I played Veiled Fate at 7 players, at 6 players, and now I've played it at 8 players. I've also played it at lower player counts, not as much my jam there, although I am curious. The new expansion that's coming out from IV Games, I am curious how that will change my mind because I've played with some of it and I do like what it's doing. But as far as the actual 8-player game, got an 8-player game in, playing retail base game, no expansions, no prototypes, just playing it at a friend's house, and it's once again a fun experience. I think that I really enjoy Veiled Fate at higher player counts. It's not my favorite game. It's not. I want to say that at higher player counts, it's probably a decent 4 out of 5. At lower player counts, it's a 3.5 out of 5. But that might change with expansions to see how they are. But I do like Veiled Fate. I just think that even at higher player counts, I think 6 might be my favorite player count. I think 6 might be my favorite. I think 8 was a bit too chaotic for me. I enjoyed it, but in terms of being able to track who your partner is in the game, because at 8 players of Veiled Fate, or even at 6 players, you're basically partnering up. The general idea is you're trying to advance your god, but your god is secret, and all the gods are in play. So you're trying to move around and manipulate the board without being too obvious around who you are, because if you are too obvious, players can and will stop you. But if you're too subtle, then no one will know who you are, and you also won't win because you were so subtle no one knew who you were. So it's about finding that perfect balance, and at higher player counts, it's about finding your teammate within that perfect balance, which is where I like it a lot more. I think 6 players so far is my go-to, because I think 6, or even 7 for that matter, I think 8 was just a drop more chaotic than I wanted. I still enjoyed it, still had fun, and that one I did win, by the way. That one I did win that game. But overall, Veiled Fate, I'm surprised I managed to play it twice in the past 2 weeks, which is, again, it's not even a game I own, it's just I got to play it at Level Up Retreat, I got to play it at a friend's house, and it's not a bad game to play overall. So that's going to be the games I played this past week, which means we are here for the week in review. The week in review, going over the various videos of this past week, starting off with this past Saturday. This past Saturday, we had an Elven Throne preview. This is done by Meg. It's a preview. It's being sponsored content. Just talking about Elven Throne, which is currently on Kickstarter. It's struggling, unfortunately, but if you do have a chance to check it out, by all means do so. Then later on Saturday, we had a Tainted Grail preview. Again, coming to you from Meg, going over, well, Tainted Grail RPG. Giving you a bit of a preview for the Tainted Grail RPG. It's over on GameFound right now. If you're interested in the Tainted Grail universe and you're interested in more about that, I highly recommend checking out that video. Again, sponsored content. Then on Sunday we had a top 100 analysis of 2023, where I basically break down the various, well, facets of the top 100 of all time that I did last year, top 100 of all time as of 2023 for technical reasons. But basically going through all of that, just talking about, the highest rises, the lowest falls, the different games that moved around, dropped off, the 4 years of consistent games that have been on there, the 4 years highest average of games that have been on there, just going through a lot of that kind of information. Even talking about the games that, one of the critiques I've gotten around the way I do it is, well, it's all about the now. And I talked about how, I think around 20 games, I went through the whole list. It might have been 19. I don't remember the exact count, but some portion of my games, a decent enough, not 3 games, but maybe a fifth of the games in my top 100, I haven't even played this past year, which is always tough because I think some people would watch that and be like, why didn't you play those games and why are they top 100? You're never going to make everyone happy. But basically, some games cannot get played and still stick around. Some games get played too much. Some games get played too little. It's all a combination conversation. But if you're interested in my top 100 games, my top 100 statistics, go ahead and check that out. On Monday we had 2 back-to-back, going through a variety of crowdfunding campaigns. There were a decent amount of crowdfunding campaigns, and I was low on time, which means some of them got pushed to next week, which means we'll definitely have a 2 back this week, although I hope nothing gets pushed. We'll see. There might be a lot of campaigns. On Tuesday we had a review for Cuzco, the new games from Stefan Feld from Kemet Games, the re-implementation of Bora Bora. I like the re-implementation so far. I've played various of the games in the Stefan Feld City collection from Queen Games. I think Vienna is fine. Well, we'll talk, you know what? No, let's hold off on Vienna. I'll have more coverage on Vienna. It is better than what I just said because I didn't finish my sentence, but it's whatever. We'll have more coverage on Vienna for you. But Cuzco, Marrakesh is fantastic. Some of the ones I haven't tried yet, although I do hope to try more of them. But Cuzco is great. I think it's a expensive game, take that into account, but I do think it's a good re-implementation of Bora Bora, and I think I'll be getting rid of Bora Bora and replacing it with Cuzco because I don't see a reason not to. I do like the box of Bora Bora, but the components of Cuzco I think are better. Anyways, past that, we have later on Tuesday, we had a review for Everstone Discovering Ignis. This is over on Kickstarter right now. I enjoy the game. I wish there was better art and graphic design, but the actual gameplay was very good. But art and graphic design are things I do care about, unfortunately. Graphic design more so than art, so we'll see how the final copy shows up or turns out and all that. Then lastly, on Tuesday, we had a review for Wyrmspan. Going over Wyrmspan, I give it a 4 out of 5. I believe Meg gave it the same. This is a joint review covering Wyrmspan, our thoughts on it. We've played it at a variety of player counts. We've played it a variety of times. We've really enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 with pros and cons. Check out that video for the whole list of, well, pros and cons and nuances of conversation and all of that. On Wednesday we had the top 10 games to start a collection. Basically a video talking about 10 games I think would be excellent to start a collection. Although it was fun, by the way. Miniature Market shared my video. Did I reference them? In price points, did I reference Miniature Market? Because if I did, like, it wasn't a sponsored video, I may have referenced Miniature Market, I wonder. Because I did use, like, standard price points. I often do Game Nerds, but Miniature Market and Game Nerds are usually the 2 stores I look at the most. But I was actually happy to see Miniature Market share the video, partially because one of the things I thought was interesting is somebody commented on the video, and I don't even disagree with them, saying, like, hey, these kinds of videos are fun to watch, but are they really helpful? Like, does anyone actually watch these and utilize these? Are they getting anything from it? And I kind of responded, I'm honestly not sure, because I don't disagree with you. I think that the type of person who's watching my channel or content is likely someone who's already deeper into the hobby. And so to a certain extent, my hope is that these types of videos are shared. You have a friend who's getting into gaming, they ask for recommendations, you're like, oh my gosh, Alex just posted a video 2 weeks ago, let me go ahead and share that with you. I think it's very situational content. Also, I do think it's entertaining to watch. Like, I've watched other channels' top 10, game starter collection, because I find it interesting, like, what's in there? What did I miss? What's going on? So as a seasoned gamer, I appreciate the content, and I hope that it makes its way to the new gamer at the right time and place, but I understand the question. And then Miniature Market shared my video to an audience of people who probably like Miniature Market and can benefit from that video. So I was very happy with that. So thank you, Miniature Market, for sharing my video. I appreciate it. Later on Thursday we had a few things as usual. We had a video, a level up vlog, basically a recap of Level Up Retreat. There are far better vlog content out there. In fact, honestly, there's so much content out there for Level Up already. If you are interested in finding out more about Level Up Retreat, seeing if it's a game, not a game, seeing if it's a convention. I'm so used to talking in certain terminologies and languages. Seeing if it's a convention for you. Foster the Meeple put out a video, recap there. Jenna from the Board Game Garden put out a video. Board Game Dave put out a recap. I think I mentioned it last week, but Easy Cat put out a video. What else is there? I feel like I'm missing some. What else was there? I feel like there's at least... Was it Was it Terradice? Terradice did a video, I think, maybe. Did they do a recap? They might have done a recap. Either way, there's a bunch of videos out there on Level Up Retreat. If you're interested in finding out more information about it, there's plenty out there, and we do hope to be continuing to do Level Up Retreat, so we'll see how that goes. Then that was Thursday. No, Thursday's not done. Then we had a live Q&A later on Thursday. We had a live Q&A, just doing the usual, hey, I'm here. I was late, too. I had a whole story. If you want the whole story, literally just listen to the first 2 minutes of the live Q&A, and then after that, it goes to a regular Q&A. But I've had an eventful week, very busy week, and a very, very good week. All things are good, just chaotic and all that stuff. And then lastly, on Thursday, we had another sponsored video regarding Tainted Grail. This is more of a comparison of Tainted Grail, the board game, versus Tainted Grail, the RPG. Just talking about cons, differences, things to note about what might be right for you in one versus the other. Talks about some of the overlap. There's also, by the way, I don't think it was mentioned in the video, but there is actually a character pack. If you are a Tainted Grail fan, there is a character pack from Tainted Grail RPG that's usable in both the Tainted Grail RPG and in Tainted Grail, and I believe they're working to make it usable and compatible in Tainted Grail Kings of Ruin as well, if that's your jam. So we'll see how that goes, but that is all information for you. Which brings us to Friday. We're not done yet. Friday we had 2 videos go up. We had the month in review for the month of January. For the month of January, month in review takes place for the prior month. So if you want the month in review, talking about the stats, favorite videos, best everything, best that, I don't know, the disappointments of the month, the basic month in review recap went up this past Friday. And then lastly, we had an Agemonia gameplay, diving going to continue to dive into the world of Agemonia. We're currently on we played through our first full game, so to speak, and we're going to be diving into more shortly. We're going to be ahead of you, so you're always going to be like a few weeks behind as we go through this. But I'm really enjoying Agemonia. I need to keep playing it more to see where I am on the review spectrum, but I really like the game. You just have to wait until I dive into enough that I feel comfortable with calling it a review, and as things continue to change, I'm not yet at that point. I still need to gain levels and see more of the world, but if you want to go ahead and stay tuned along for that journey, well, Agemonia Gameplay 2 goes up Friday, or went up Friday. Which brings us to today. Today we have a few things. We have a review for Sea Dragons going up. It's currently on Kickstarter as we speak, and we review for Philharmonics, which is currently on Kickstarter as we speak. So 2 semi-delayed reviews of active Kickstarter games. Go ahead and check those out, both the reviews and the Kickstarter campaigns. And then next week we have a few things. We will have a 8 games if you like Carcassonne video, a continuation of the series where I pick, anywhere between 7, 8, 9, 6 games, whatever it is, and talk about if you like this game, you might like these games, and here's why. But I'm doing that for Carcassonne this week, although I hope to film a few more. I need to get a few more lined up because it's a fun series to do. We're also going to have Cascadia Rolling Hills review coverage going up, so if you want to see Rolling Hills, Rolling Rivers, if you want to see the new Cascadia Roller Rights, we'll have that going up this week on the channel. And then I should have a Cyberpunk 2077 unboxing as well. And in fact, I need to film my Robinson Crusoe unboxing. That came in today. Maybe I'll get 2 unboxings next week, or maybe I'll push one off to the week after. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Which brings us to the games on the table. As usual, these are some of the games I hope to be playing this week. We'll see which ones get made or not. We have Lightspeed Arena, which is basically a version of a game I believe called Lightspeed originally, that utilizes an app to kind of scan the table when you throw down cards and try to basically shoot each other with lasers in a semi-real-time game. We have River Valley Glassworks over here. This one that I had a chance to play at PAX Unplugged, but the crowdfunding campaign for this is fast approaching. I believe March 19th, I want to say. So I hope to be getting some coverage of this in soon, which means more plays, and then some coverage of this in soon. And then lastly, we have Dying Light, the board game, which I really hope to be tabling this week. There are a few games that I'm still kind of working my way through, but games take time. The practical reality is games take time. So I have this whole list of games that are going up. We had a bunch of games going up on the 20th, and we have a bunch of games going up on the 27th of February. I've been trying to make sure I'm ahead of those as I do them, which I've been effectively knocking out most of them, but I still need to be mindful. And Dying Light is going to be February 27th, and I haven't read the rules for this yet, so I hope to be printing that out, well, by the time you watch this video, I hope to have printed out the rules and started playing through Dying Light and seeing how it does, whether the game's good or not, or for me, or any of that stuff. Coming to you from Glass Cannon Unplugged, who did Frostpunk and Apex Legends. And that's basically everything. That is your news and week in review. No, we still don't have movie reviews for you. I have been watching TV shows, not as many movies right now, so until I get caught up on those, well, we'll have movie reviews for you at some point in some way. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have an excellent week, and I hope you have a good one.